In March 2018, 22-year-old Haley Anderson disappeared from her apartment off campus at Binghamton University, where she was studying to be a nurse. On the morning of March 9, 2018, her friends Josie Arden and Michelle Topali hadn't heard from Haley. Approaching Orlando's house and knocking on all doors, they climbed through an open window and found Haley in her bed, strangled. In this video, we will uncover the mystery of the murder of the young student. Haley Anderson was born in Westbury to Karen and Gordon Anderson. She was the youngest child in the family. Her older sister, Madeline, simply adored Haley. After high school, Haley enrolled in the nursing program at Binghamton University's Medical Center. At the time of her disappearance, 22-year-old Haley was completing her final year of studies. In a month, there would be a graduation ceremony for her class. Haley was eagerly anticipating the event. During her studies, Haley worked part-time at Jasmine's Cafe for the first 3 years. Later, Haley found a job opening in the emergency department at Long Island Hospital. Since childhood, Haley had wanted to work in a hospital and help people. Haley was strong, independent, kind, and cheerful. She had many friends. She also liked the hippie subculture. She believed that youth should be spent in entertainment and free relationships. Her immediate plans included a grand party to celebrate her graduation. Then, Haley wanted to go on a trip to California. For this, she even planned to buy her own van. Upon entering the university, Haley began dating Kevin Ocampo, but soon the couple broke up. Kevin wanted more serious relationships, while Haley explained that she belonged to no one and could date other guys. Haley and Kevin remained friends and communicated well. During her first year at the university, Haley also met another guy, Orlando Tercero. At first, she didn't like him. About a year later, Haley and Orlando met at a party. They literally didn't leave each other's side all evening, as they discovered they had common interests and life goals. Orlando was born in Miami and grew up in Nicaragua. Then he returned to the USA for education. He studied hard and enjoyed having fun in his free time. But Haley and Orlando's relationship didn't last long either. They didn't have a stable relationship, and the rare dates from time to time didn't satisfy Orlando. He fell in love with Haley and wanted to be the one for her. A few months later, Haley began dating Kevin Ocampo again, her ex-boyfriend. Orlando Tercero accidentally found out about it on September 15, 2017. He yelled at Haley. He demanded that Haley only have a relationship with him, Orlando. Haley replied that she didn't want that but wanted to remain friends with Orlando. That night, Kevin Ocampo stayed with Haley, and when he left, he saw that all 4 tires on Haley's car were slashed. The girl turned to the police. It turned out that Orlando damaged the car. Haley's mother, Karen, persuaded her daughter to file a police report against Orlando. Haley felt sorry for the guy as he would lose his place at the university. The girl agreed for Orlando to compensate her for the damage in the amount of $600, and the case was closed. On March 8, 2018, there was a party at the university dormitory. Haley stayed up late playing board games and drinking strong drinks with her roommates. Then the girls fell asleep. Several hours later, Josie Arden, her roommate, woke up and found that Haley was missing. This didn't cause her any worry. They were adult students, independent, and often went about their business without notifying each other. Later that same day, March 9, 2018, Josie became worried when Haley didn't show up for a planned meeting with her friends. The friends checked Haley's social media and found out that all day Haley hadn't posted anything on her pages. Josie called Haley's mobile, but she didn't pick up. Text messages also went unanswered. Then Josie, with another roommate, Michelle Topali, decided to track Haley's phone through the Find My Friends iPhone app. Haley's mobile phone was located at the house on Oak Street. Orlando Tercero lived in this house. Josie and Michelle decided to go to the house on Oak Street and check if Haley was there. Interestingly, a few hours before, The police had already visited the house on Oak Street. Orlando Tercero's sister received a strange message from him and was afraid that something had happened to her brother. Since the woman lived in another city, she called the police and asked them to check. The police came, knocked on the door. No one opened. The police left. Josie and Michelle realized that the house was empty, but they didn't leave. The app on the phone showed that Haley's mobile was still in the house. Josie and Michelle were worried about Haley. They found an open window in the house. Josie helped Michelle climb into the house and then followed her. The girls found Haley in Orlando's bedroom, partially wrapped in his blanket. She was very pale. The girls called 911. The police and emergency services arrived. Haley couldn't be saved. The police found out that over the past year, Orlando and Haley had been meeting from time to time. Reviewing the surveillance camera recordings, the police determined that on the night of March 8, 9, Haley and Orlando entered the house together. Haley looked normal and entered the house voluntarily. Orlando left the house several times. Once, to the pharmacy, where he bought 2 sleeping pills. At 7 a.m., he left the house and went to the basement. That's when he sent the strange message. That's when he left a note in the basement in Spanish. I really regret this. I never felt capable of doing something like this. Father, we'll see each other soon. Orlando's father left this world 5 years ago. The police understood why the guy went to the basement, but Orlando didn't succeed in the basement. He only got bruises and abrasions. On the cameras, Orlando is seen leaving the house with a suitcase and getting into a car. The police tracked his trip to John F. Kennedy Airport. Orlando boarded a flight to Nicaragua. He had dual citizenship, and his mother still lived in Nicaragua. Because of his dual citizenship, Nicaraguan authorities might not extradite the criminal to the U.S. However, U.S. police filed charges against Orlando Tercero in absentia for second-degree murder, hoping to have him returned to the U.S. for trial. Nicaraguan authorities made every effort to locate Orlando. They found him 5 days later in a hospital in the city of Leon. He sought medical help for injuries he sustained in the basement of the Oak Street house. There were many disputes between the two countries. Nicaraguan authorities decided to prosecute the criminal on their own soil. It took over a year for investigators to deem the evidence against Orlando sufficient to bring charges against him. Orlando Tercero was charged with murder of a woman on the basis of gender, out of hatred, with whom he had relations. There were no jurors in Nicaragua. The judge heard the prosecution and defense and made the decision. Orlando didn't even have to plead guilty. Witnesses from the U.S. were heard via video link. Haley's friends confirmed that Orlando was obsessed with the girl. The girl's mother, Karen, regretted not being able to persuade her daughter to break up with Tercero for good. The defense argued that Orlando doesn't remember the events of that night and that he may have been provoked. Ultimately, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison, and his appeal for a reduced sentence was denied in March 2020. He still faces charges of second-degree murder in Broome County, New York, if the future Broome County District Attorney decides to pursue extradition after Tercero serves 30 years in the Nicaraguan prison system. As we conclude this journey through Haley's story, we invite you to subscribe to our channel for more captivating tales and meaningful content. Share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below, as we value your perspective and contribution to our community. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if it touched your heart. Thank you for joining us on this emotional ride, and we look forward to seeing you in our next adventure. Until then, take care, and remember to cherish every moment.